Welcome back to another episode of the Illuminerdi Marvel Watch-Alongs. I'm Braxton Timberlake. With me, I got Caitlin.
Hey everybody, really excited for this episode.
Coming along for the ride is my man Richard.
What's up, guys? I'm not on fire, so that's good.
And rounding out the quartet, of course, is Joe. So what's up, man?
We are here to talk about Spider-Man. Let's do it. That's what we're really here for, right? This what if is kind of secondary. It's all Spider-Man all the time. We broke a lot of news from that, and I think we're gonna make a lot of fans happy.
We've only been talking about this trailer for what, a year now?
But we got it. We got
Basically.
Finally
right.
here, it's a real thing. What if is actually a reality? Spider-Man is here. The trailer dropped yesterday. We got a lot of things confirmed. We got a lot of our dreams come true already. Caitlin, what was one of your favorite things about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
One of the funnier moments when Spider-Man called Doctor Strange Steven and Strange just pauses for a full 5 seconds ago. It's weird, but okay. I just love that moment so much.
A little weird, but I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Richard, what are some things that stuck out to you about the trailer, man?
I won't lie, I squealed when the Goblin Bomb came up and when Dr. Octopus showed up. It was the first Spider-Man movie is, I've said this on other shows before, that it's one of the first movies I vividly remember seeing in theaters, and seeing that officially in the MCU blew my freaking mind.
I gotta agree with you, Richard. It gives me a little bit of chills. And fun fact here, a lot of people may not know this here, but Brax and I are both in the first Spider-Man movie, actually.
Fun fact.
We're not in it together, but we are both in that movie at two separate times. And this is prior to us knowing each other. So
God.
that's a little bit of a lost connection.
Wow.
There. But Spider-Man is what brings us all together. And Richard, you were right. We've been talking about this trailer for the better part of a year now. We finally got it. And to see those Raimi-verse characters in the MCU, oh my God. It's one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing to see it. And I was blown away.
You know, for me, I have a lot of nostalgia with the Raimi films, but one of my biggest highs and lows of the entire franchise was, in fact, it's funny you bring that up, Joe. It's actually being on set and seeing the Green Goblin costume walk on the set and being like, oh, they're going to fix that with some kind of CGI. And it was exactly what it was. So with that being true, I'm hoping this what if reiteration of Spider-Man really fixes that one thing. So if they give us a new Green Goblin that looks correct, or just give us this paint Defoe's face, William Defoe's face, and then we'll be good. So that's really what I'm looking forward to.
And we also have the chat, so thank you guys for joining us for this Marvel Watch Along, even though we're going to be focusing a little bit here on Spider-Man. Toku Kid, a member of the Illuminerdi, thank you so much for joining us. He says he loves seeing Sandman protect Spider-Man from Electro. I love any Spider stories where Flint goes hero or gets hero moments. So that was one of the big things that we're leading up to in this Spider-Man. I mean, it's been long rumored, the Sinister Six. And do you guys remember the old rumors that was the stop and go thing that Sony was trying to do the Sinister Six, and then it wasn't happening, and now it seems like we're back on it. So it's finally all coming together. Kevin Feige is pulling it all together. I mean, he's probably the greatest producer of the modern era. Would you guys agree?
At the very least in the conversation, but yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the rumors were actually true. They were actually trying to hardcore make that Sinister Six movie. They had Drew Goddard behind it, and there was all kinds of this crazy different casting rumors of people they were considering for different characters. But the way they're going with pulling all the different universes together to make the ultimate Sinister Six is really kind of exciting. So we'll see what happens. But I am interested in seeing what common fans think of it. Will they just be drawn into this nostalgia? Do they even know what the Sinister Six is? Do they know what's going on? So I'll be interested to see how much of a draw this is at the box office.
Hey, Brax, I have a question for you, my friend. So we obviously know that a lot of rumors for Spider-Man No Way Home. My question for you is, how much in that trailer did some of these exclusives get confirmed?
Oh, well,
because I feel like a lot were just confirmed with that one trailer alone.
Yeah, I mean, we got hints of the pumpkin bomb with Green Goblin. We got hints of Sandman with the Death Sun settling. What What else
Richard
did we
wrote
talk
up that
about?
JB Smooth piece that were like literally hours before the trailer dropped, which was
Yeah.
magnificent. So there was that leak as well.
Yeah,
we got
sure.
we got electricity in the trailer, so we got a little hint of that, and it was yellow electricity. So maybe we'll get a little bit more comic accurate Electro in this because we know Jamie Foxx is coming.
He said he's not going to be blue this time, so that's that should help.
Oh, you actually said that? Okay, cool, perfect.
I'm pretty sure he said that when he was first starting to be rumored as in the movie.
Hey,
now,
Caitlin,
the question is, are they going to give?
go
Are
ahead.
they going to give him the light? Are they going to give him the lightning mask
Oh, that'd be cool.
if they pull it off right?
Well,
Right.
Caitlin, I have a question for you. So now that we know that Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro. Do you think that he's going to be specifically from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Verse, or do you think that's an Electro from one of the other Spider-Verses?
I think if they're pulling in Andrew Garfield, it would make sense to pull in his villains. I think only pulling in like Tobey Maguire villains would be weird. But I also think it would make sense if he is going to look super different for him to maybe be like MCU Prime's Electro. I think it'll just kind of depend on how he looks and how the other two Spider-Mans come into play.
Hey, Richard, you're a longtime Spider-Man fan, right?
Oh yeah.
I have a question for you, actually. So, with the Raimiverse characters, we know that we've seen Doc Ock, we've seen Norman Osborn, the Sandman, and even the Andrew Garfield characters with the Lizard and Electro. Are you excited to see those iterations of the character in the MCU, or did you kind of wish deep down that the MCU would kind of make those characters their own and cast all new actors in those roles?
You know, I didn't expect the MCU to actually bring those characters in at all. I guess because like when Far From Home when Far From Home ended, we had no idea like what was coming in this way. We knew Peter was going to be on the run, and that was going to be a huge part of it, but we didn't know like what villains were coming into play. I kind of am all for this this multiversal versions of the character that have been in past movies. I mean, because we're literally getting characters, it seems like, from every single live action Spider-Man movie, all 5 of them from before Spidey joined the MCU. So count me in on it. I mean, I still think personally that Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina are 2 of the best comic book movie villains ever. So a chance to bring them into the MCU, I'm all for.
Couldn't they also later bring in MCU iterations of these characters?
They could. They very well could.
Yeah, variants. That's a great point, Brax. Are these variants now? Would this version of the Sinister Six, or at least half of them, be variants?
Yeah, I mean,
right?
6 months ago, I couldn't really imagine how they would pull it off, and we knew what was happening, but it just seemed like it just didn't make sense. But now that they've been priming us with all these Disney Plus shows with time travel and alternate realities, and of course variants now, it just makes a lot of sense. They could really do whatever the hell they want to do.
Now, what I'm curious about, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it, is we got that whole thing from Alfred Molina like 6 months ago, pretty much explaining how he's going to be in the movie, pretty much getting him on Kevin Feige's hit list and everything. But what I'm curious about is, are all the villains going to come in the same way as him? Because like what Caitlin was saying about Electro, because he's not going to be blue this time, like he could be a little bit different in how he comes into play. But are they going to be similar to how Doc Ock is coming in, or are they all going to kind of come in like their own different way, is what I'm curious about.
I think it'll depend on how the universe sort of gets pulled apart. I think if it's like bleeding through, it might be a little more subtle. I don't necessarily like it. I think it'd be interesting if they didn't all immediately confront Peter, assuming that's what we see with Doc Ock. So I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of like, they kind of accidentally almost end up in this branch of the universe and start to realize what's going on. And like, think about it. If you're a Spider-Man villain, you get there and you see everyone hates Spider-Man and you know his identity immediately. You're gonna start plotting. That's gonna be like it's gonna be like the best day ever for you. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of like that sort of situation. I feel like if all of them just like popped up and was like, "Hi, Peter," like every corner, it would be a little much. It would kind of take away. It would take away a little bit of like the like snap of that moment.
Yeah.
Where do you guys think like the overall like tension and why the villains would be centering on Peter anyways? Like, what's the beef?
Well, look, I mean, are we allowed to talk about some of these Reddit leaks? I mean, they're out there.
If it's
I
a
mean,
Reddit leak, I say we talk about it. We've reported on them.
Yeah.
I mean, even amongst ourselves, it's not like this chatter hasn't been public. I mean, we've even spoken about it amongst ourselves privately, and I'm interested because like some of these Reddit leaks, as you know, as a lot of folks may discredit them, a lot of them turn out to be accurate. I mean, sometimes they're duds, but a lot of them do turn out to be accurate, and I don't really see anything from this trailer that would mislead me to believe that anything that's leaked wasn't real at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, though, and Brax, we know this firsthand. Marvel is notorious for changing parts of movies all the way up until the last minute, just to throw an audience off. And we've seen that time and time again. And even just a little inside baseball, we've seen it ourselves happen within Marvel Studios. So, you know, do you think that these leaks, anything from these leaks would change between now and then in December when this film comes out?
I don't really think so. I mean, it seems like it's pretty in place. It would be hard for them to change a lot at this point. I feel like their biggest challenge right now is when they're going to release the film, and will people actually come to the theaters to see it? We saw how looks like Venom's going to get pushed now to 2022. You know, and what's Marvel's been good at, and obviously this is a Sony film, but they're using their formula that they've had trailers that don't really reveal a lot. So even though it seems like we've gotten a lot, we might have only just gotten just a little bit of what's really going on. So they could really play around with it and have time to change things and modify things later on. So
we do have a little activity in the chat. Toku Kid, member of the team, joining us. He asks, cool, we get the multiverse Sinister Six, but could we get a 6 if just the MCU villains? Which I'm assuming that means, do you think we'll ever get a Sinister Six of just MCU characters? Caitlin, do you think that is still possible? And you think that's still on the table?
I think it depends on how long they plan to use Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I think if we're going to have a lot more movies of him, then yes. But because I think like Thor's the first character where he's getting a 4th movie for his franchise. So if Peter Parker's story is going to be starting to wrap up in a movie or two, I wouldn't necessarily assume we would be getting a MCU specific Sinister Six in that type of situation.
And you know what? I think. Go ahead, Brax. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to answer that real quick. I think it's almost impossible, aside from William Dafoe. I think Sony's really making a play right now to kind of take all their toys and bring it back to their part of the sandbox right now. And I don't really see them giving away Alfred Molina and all these other characters. And at the same time, allowing Marvel more time to define more characters than they have already with Vulture and hopefully maybe like Scorpion in the future, along with Mysterio. I think that they're trying to round the horses.
Didn't they rename their like Marvel universe the Spider-Man universe?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I do want to acknowledge Metal Ryan Gaming. Thank you so much for interacting with us on chat. For anybody that is interested, we do have the super chat feature that helps support the show. You can ask us anything you want. We do break Marvel news from time to time. So if it's something we do know, we may fill you guys in a little bit where we're going here. But back to Spider-Man, because we're going to, I mean, What If starts in just a few minutes, but back to Spider-Man. Let's talk about the trailer. Let's try to pick apart little things that us as fans kind of caught on. I know that we're in this age now where we can freeze frame every little thing and pick out every little thing. What were some of the touchstone moments from this trailer that you guys caught as eagle-eyed Marvel fans?
I don't know if this is an eagle-eyed situation, but first off, I love that Wong just left. And I'm curious, right? I'm curious how that will be addressed, because we saw in the trailer for Shang-Chi that Wong is there. So that kind of leads me to the question, like, and I think Shang-Chi takes place during the snap, right? So it's...
Well, no, it takes place in the present.
Yeah. They confirmed that it takes place after Endgame.
All right, so then if it's in the present, then is Wong, like, is Shang-Chi and Spider-Man around the same time?
Right, could be.
Probable. It's probable.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? The thing I think that shocked me most is is why Doctor Strange is in the movie. Like the fact that Peter asked him to basically try to make the world forget that he's Spider-Man. And I mean, like, it makes sense hearing it, but that was not what I was expecting going into this movie as one of the major plot points.
You know what's interesting about the beginning of this phase 4 is that I feel like this phase feels the most interconnected out of any of the other phases.
Absolutely.
It feels like even from the jump, right? Even with WandaVision, I guess we would consider, right? Like it set the tone of kind of where this phase was going, even then and there. And I think like the only one that kind of even feels out of place now is still Black Widow. But even then, like if
the Elena stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think that like it's opening the doors up for our future, but at the same time, like it's really merging what we know as the current MCU really together.
It also seems like other than like origin story new characters, most of the movies are team ups. So that to me is another reason this makes sense to have Doctor Strange in there. And then also like what Joe was saying with kind of the general audience that maybe isn't as familiar with the other live action Spider-Mans, not that they didn't see it, but they aren't like watching it again and remembering it. Having Doctor Strange in there feels like another MCU touchstone with a bunch of villains that are coming from outside the MCU.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, you guys have mentioned Black Widow. You've mentioned other MCU heroes. Let's talk a little what if, because it's about to get started. We have the title for the third episode. It's called The World Lost, Its Mightiest Heroes. So we're gonna,
oh boy.
Let's get ready to change gears. Everybody who's watching, I want you to sit back. We're gonna switch over and go to watch along mode in just a quick second. So if we could get a quick countdown from our master producer Josh in the background so we can get us all on the same page. I want to get into this The World's Lost, Its Mightiest Heroes episode of the What If. So guys, let's cue up the episode.
Episode is queued, sir.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Good to go when you guys are.
Oh, by the way, Richard, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. The fires up in Northern California are no joke. So everybody that's up there, stay safe. Like our buddy Richard here. I did offer him. I was like, "Yo, Rich, if you don't have a place to stay, my house is always open, buddy."
Thank you guys so much for that. Yeah, I just drove 8 hours yesterday from Tahoe down to Thousand Oaks, California, just outside of LA. I mean, luckily I've got my parents down here and we're staying down here with them. But yeah, it's been kind of a scary last few days with all the smoke and the ash up there. So I'm just hunkering down here for the next week or so, and then going from there. But I'm just glad I'm safe.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys.
Prayers up to you and your family. And
Yep.
climate change is real. Let's take this stuff seriously. Planet's burning.
All right, let's get that countdown going.
All right.
All right, you ready? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's what if time, y'all. Let's do it.
All right.
Here we go.
Good old Marvel intro.
I don't think I can ever get tired of the Marvel intro.
Never.
No. Yeah.
Never. Love that touch. Jackson, Jeremy Renner, Ruffalo, nice. Clark Gregg back, nice.
I feel like this is as close as we're going to get to an Avengers reunion.
Yeah. I love the like glass shards.
Super cool, yeah.
It's wild to think that 2 years ago, like the general public knew nothing about what multiverse means, and Marvel slowly explained it all to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The fact that it was just a fantasy in Far From Home, like it was just something thrown out there for the sake of throwing it out there.
It was
I mean, it's
really
pretty-
started with Doctor Strange.
Well, yeah. Because they mentioned it there too.
Mhm.
In an Endgame. Mondays, am I right?
You
I
know
love
what?
that she's so done with this.
I would have honestly. I'm so happy that Marvel took a chance on doing the What If show, like, you know what I mean? Because this is a concept that I would have been like, how would you do this? But animated form is just so good for this.
Oh yeah, you have to do it animated. There's no way to do this live action without just spending all of the money.
Yeah.
I love this moment in Iron Man 2 where he's sitting in a donut eating donuts.
You know what? That place actually, that Randy's Donut is very close to where I grew up. Actually,
Really?
Okay, in LA.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, in LA, yeah.
It is weird that all of us are fairly close to it right now.
Right. Well, except Brax. Brax is up in Northern California with you.
Right, yeah.
But I've been to Randy's Donuts. I used to be down in LA.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
whoa. He
We're
did?
not even 5 minutes in. And
I know.
Tony Stark is dead. Ooh, I like that transition.
Okay, then.
Me too. I love this.
I love how they do this. I love this in the first episode where it's like these little.
Do
Still
you think
pictures.
any of this is the concept art from said movies?
It kind of seems like it, right?
Some of
That
it
could be. The Thor one could be.
Oh, these look so good. I wish
Yeah.
there was like a coffee table book with like images like this.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
Marvel has you covered. Get ready. Let's get your credit card ready. It's
Yeah,
coming.
right.
They heard you. They got started on it.
Right.
Got a few grand to spare.
There we are.
Tuesday.
There it is. This would be the start to the Thor film, right?
Mhm.
End of Iron Man 2 and the beginning of Thor, yeah.
Where do you guys stand on Coulson? Fans?
Love him. Wish
I
he
love
could
him.
have stuck around more.
I'm with you, Rich. I'm with you. I'm a Coulson guy. I absolutely am.
I mean, Coulson's the reason that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was even a show.
Because Sam Jackson was too expensive.
Well, so that's a weird thing because I'm still unclear. Is Agents of Shield not canon into the MCU?
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the first season or so might be canon, but they get weird after a while, and the last season does not care anymore.
I'm
I'd
not
say
going to
up
lie to you
through-
though.
Up
Yeah, go
through
ahead,
about
Rich.
season 3 or 4, I could realistically see as canon, but after that, no way.
Yeah,
See,
'cause-
Once they
there's
go to
some of
space.
those. Like, I feel like there's some really strong seasons as we get towards the later part of Agents of Shield, though. But like
Oh,
when
yeah.
they went to, like the framework stuff, I thought I love that stuff.
That
The
was
Ghost
cool.
Rider
Super
stuff
cool.
I thought was great. Some of that stuff I would love to see Chloe Bennett in the MCU as Quake.
Oh,
I
she'd
would
be
too.
great. I'd love seeing her come back.
but then they go to
Right.
space in the future, and then it gets weird.
I mean, yeah, but now I don't know, but I feel like everything could be retconned at this point, right?
And
Yeah,
anything's
you-
possible now.
Yeah. Oh,
Dang, Black Widow.
also they brought Crossbones into the
Yeah,
Iron
I
Man
love
2
it.
time frame.
Yeah. Did you see how fast her arms were moving when she was punching?
There's no way they could have done that in live action.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you know what I just realized too? Some of this looks like a like the motion of like what some of the concept art would have looked like.
hmm So this is different because
Well,
we
'cause-
have Fury
'cause Nick
here.
Fury's there, yeah.
Right.
Right, instead of Coulson.
Well, I guess he would be because at this point in our story, he would have still been dealing with stuff with Iron Man. But
Right.
now Iron Man's dead.
Mhm.
Yep.
I guess that would have brought him here a lot faster.
Yeah.
Dang.
little more sneaky this time around.
So, fun fact here: this is one of the what if episodes that we did not run as an exclusive. So this is kind of like really like new for all of us watching this, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully he's an ally as he punches out every guard.
Okay, so Coulson's there too, right?
Yeah, he's just not in charge.
Right, he's not running the thing.
Thor, come on.
I love this. No, he's actually gorgeous.
Wow.
It's an accurate description.
There's this one scene in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that they do that after the Dark World crossover where it's all that.
That's right. Everyone's like, Thor's such a hunk, and Coulson's like, he's not that great.
And then May goes, no, he's dreamy.
Yep. That hair in me is real.
That's great.
That was great. That was amazing.
See, this is why I want Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be canon.
Right.
Well, season 1...
What kind of arrow was that?
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, he doesn't have his Thor powers yet. He's just a mortal.
That's
Remember,
right.
he got cast out of Asgard.
That's right.
Oh my God. So somebody's framing Barton for killing Thor.
And Black Widow for killing Iron Man.
Tony, yeah.
You know what? Oh, I guess that we don't really get that explored in the MCU is the Black Widow being like a villain before she joins Shield. We don't really get that at all in the MCU.
Only little teases, but yeah.
We get, is really in Black Widow when they're talking about what she did. Or when they talk about like read in her ledger during Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't actively see it.
Oh no. Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
What if characters actually died in the MCU?
Yeah. Can't argue there. Right? Who the hell got in there?
So 3 down.
So that's
By the way,
Thor, Barton, and Tony already.
For this episode, and this is like I was, and obviously we saw the credits. By the way, I skipped the credits a little bit.
Coulson,
But
what are you doing?
You smelling a dead person, dude?
Hey, it smells great though.
That's so weird.
I don't care
Whoever
I don't care how hot he is. You don't smell a dead person.
Whoever did Tony Stark's voice, I was wondering if, like, first of all, whoever did Tony Stark was great. Secondly, I was wondering if they just used outtakes from the, from
shooting for Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
No,
I was like,
nah.
The only reason I wouldn't think that is because in the second trailer we see Tony Stark and Killmonger, and it sounds like
it doesn't
Robert
sound
Downey
like
Jr.
Robin.
If they did
just
that,
like
they'd have to pay Robert Downey though.
Like it does, but it doesn't.
No, but it's close enough that I don't find it super noticeable.
Yeah.
Like
I think Steve Rogers won a little bit more so, right? That wasn't a 1-to-1 Evans. And this is definitely not a 1-to-1 to Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
If Liv Tyler even is still our MCU Betty Ross at this point.
I have not. Yeah.
She's only been in one movie. It was 13 years ago. So
this is like the least referenced movie probably of all the movies. It's interesting.
Well,
that
if I'm not mistaken, isn't there a picture of Betty Ross in the first Avengers movie? Am I completely wrong?
Maybe.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think he looks at a picture of him. I think he looks at a picture of him on the screen.
Yeah.
No, that was Jane.
Iron Man was that
Jane Foster. Jane, that's right.
It's Jane Foster. You're right.
Yeah.
Man,
So that syringe just got blasted open.
Oh, Stanley's Pizza. So this one, believe it or not, I feel like this is our closest connection to that Hulk movie that we've gotten.
It is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A student left their work uniform in my lab, as they do.
Of course. Just a pizza bag and a cap.
Right. Is this a secure line? No. Okay, I'm gonna tell you anyways. Her red hair is like it's a little. It doesn't work for me.
Who do I kill? It's a little too red, yeah.
I wonder if RDJ, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, if they did their voices for this prior to anything, that was going on. Because, I mean, didn't some of the actors even say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing lines with so and so from the like"?
Didn't Jeff Goldblum say
Jeff
that?
Goldblum said
I think
he did that.
he did,
Robert
yeah.
Downey. He definitely did. Oh no, he said he was about to go do it. Regardless.
I love this. I love that this is our first version of Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk in the Incredible Hulk setting. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, that's weird.
It is a
Oh,
little bit,
shoot.
right?
What if Edward Norton didn't exist? Oh shoot.
What if the Hulk didn't look like Edward Norton? What if War Machine didn't look like Terrence Howard?
Right.
Terrence Howard, exactly.
I love the Watcher in the sky.
That was cool.
Coulson's so weird. I love him. I went to get coffee.
Whoa.
Bifrost.
Hello, Bifrost.
By Coulson's car.
What would you get out of the car is my question.
I have no idea. It's a terrible decision.
Yeah, why would you get out of the car?
Middle Earth. They do a Lord of the Rings reference. All right, Loki.
Is this Coulson more ridiculous than we've seen him before?
Yeah. Go get him, boss. I mean, wasn't that like his line in Captain Marvel 2 or something?
Probably. Man, Loki can't catch a break. No one will kneel when he arrives.
So at this point, we have to assume that everything that happened in the original Thor film still happened in this universe, except obviously Thor dies, and then Loki comes down. So like we still
Not
have.
only does Loki come down, they all came down with him.
Right.
He just said the rightful king of Jotunheim.
Right,
because I guess his dad was in the Odin sleep at this point when he puts him in the Odin sleep after they go and fight in the Bifrost.
Right,
maybe.
But no one knew he was from Jotunheim.
That is not William Hurt.
He did not announce that to all of Asgard when he became king.
Unless that he already took over. Unless he already took over Asgard at this point, which we don't know.
But even if he did, like, think about it. When Thor was banished, he wasn't like, oh, by the way, I'm a frost giant.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know.
All kinds of standoffs happen.
Oh.
Whoa.
Dang.
I think I'm like a second ahead of Richard and 2 seconds ahead of Caitlin, which is funny. Is I think I'm getting the reactions, like the secondary reactions for you guys. Oh.
Okay, Hulk.
What insolence.
Okay. You know the Hulk.
Black Widow, you're running away from your boyfriend.
They're not even close to together at that point.
I know, I'm making fun of it because that was so stupid.
If it had been for more than one movie, it might have made sense. But
no, if it had been for more than one movie, it would have been worse.
Let's just say it wasn't great. Leave it at that.
Yeah, Richard, at no point was it a good choice.
Hey, Falcon said it best. This is awkward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude. Father.
What are you?
She,
Yeah,
what she
right.
calls him father.
Also, what are you doing running in the middle of all that?
I mean, it even shows that they had no plans for Betty Ross, even in their own, like even them doing the Incredible Hulk story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not even sort of. What the?
Oh,
Okay,
that
what
was painful.
Oh,
Gross.
Is he?
Oh,
whoa.
He exploded.
Did they just kill the Hulk?
So that's Iron Man.
That's everybody except Widow
Yeah, it's everybody except Widow, right?
Yeah.
and Caps.
And Captain
Cap.
America. He's not there yet.
We
Cap,
don't know
I
about
guess.
Cap. Yeah.
Where's the Hulk guts? Because that just looked like smoke.
Disney. I'm
Too
Disney.
low of a rating to be able to show them.
Fair point. I will do that.
It's not a rated R animated project.
You know what? Quick question. What is this rated, by the way?
I would guess like PG.
I don't know.
14 or something. Because
I-
like some of those hits are pretty intense.
The other ones I think were rated TV 14. So
Yeah, like when Captain Carter broke that dude's knee, I was like, oh, all right.
yeah. I mean, they've got some PG-13 stuff in here, but
Yeah, I mean, they
mean,
just
even-
murdered 4 Benders.
In feature films, like even PG-13 for animation is a lot higher. It's almost like an R for live action stuff.
right. Wow.
Manassas.
The Black Widow voice is
It's
throws
it's
me off
not
a little bit.
great.
Not Scarlett Johansson.
Olsen, have some respect for yourself, man.
Dude. Come on, son.
A little bit, right?
You know what? Props to him for going all the way.
It's a long password.
That's a really long password. That's like a
I
30
almost
character.
guarantee you, though, so there's certain hardcore MCU fans that will definitely, that's going to be their password.
Could be the new
Oh,
password.
no doubt. No doubt. I'm sure it's already somebody's password.
As they watch.
Died 2 years ago.
Better watch your back.
Ooh, you spoke a little too soon there, buddy.
Right?
I shouldn't have said that. Okay, what the hell is doing this to her?
Not fair.
Well, it's
It's
something
hope.
you can't see.
It's all about hope.
Wait a second.
Did you guys catch one of the names on the screen?
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and check the screen later, but
It's hope. It's all about hope.
Mm-hmm.
is this like Ant-Man related?
Well, one of the names on the screen was Janet Van Dyne.
Mhm.
Oh shit.
Did you just burp into your mic?
I think I might have.
I'm glad they brought Coulson back, and it seems like he got like a meaty role in this too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a good amount of screen time.
Yeah. I do think that's going to be some of the fun of this, is seeing some of those former MCU cast members that we hadn't seen in such a long time just come out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
Like Clark Gregg, yeah.
Like Clark Gregg, exactly.
Well, it happened with Thanos last week too.
Right.
Whoa.
That's a,
Is that? Oh.
That's the pager.
Oh shit.
Ding.
Light bulb. So
Either make
is
a
Captain
pact with
Marvel
God
going
or
to
a
show up in
deal with
this?
the devil.
He didn't use it though.
Yeah, he didn't use it.
I was like, is she going to show up though? I mean,
it's an interesting tease if she doesn't.
right?
The Destroyer.
Destroyer, nice.
When you couldn't see like the dust behind him, it looked like he was driving so slow.
You know what? It's interesting though because this retcons like a bunch of different MCU films. Obviously, it retcons
Like
Thor,
everything.
Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk. Well, essentially all of Phase 1.
Yeah.
Oh man, another Watcher shot. That's awesome.
That was great shot.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Okay.
Hope Van Dyne.
Beloved daughter, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That retcons a ton more
Ant-Man.
than Phase 1.
Oh,
Whoa.
shit. Dude. Oh,
whoa.
Man.
That's cold, B.
Yo.
We get evil Hank Pym finally.
Yo, here's what I love about this. Anybody a fan of Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes? Like it was an animated cartoon. It was phenomenal. Anybody that hasn't seen it, go watch that. That was the MCU before the MCU. But they do the whole Yellow Jacket Hank Pym thing. And this is like obviously it's a classic pulled out of the comic books. Like Ant-Man becomes Yellow Jacket and it's Hank Pym and he starts losing it a little bit. And I love that this is that adaptation of that.
Anthony Stark. That's weird.
You know what this means? The Nexus moment was way back before the episode even started.
Yeah.
So the Nexus moment becomes, I think that they must have told Hope that they were working with S.H.I.E.L.D. back when they were Ant-Man and Wasp during the
this is why he never wanted her to get involved, because if he had, this is what would have happened. You know what? We should do an article of identifying every Nexus moment from every episode of What If.
Yeah.
I think it could be fascinating.
This is my favorite one so far because we didn't
see
the Nexus moment.
Right.
Well, this and it's also all of the contemporary Avengers.
But I mean, the Nexus moment that changed everything was Hope knew what her parents were doing.
Also, that is why they couldn't do the show in live action.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Geriatric beatdown.
Yeah, Michael Douglas is definitely not doing this.
Also, Samuel Jackson isn't flipping over anybody.
Yeah. He just punched
he seems like he's young, but he ain't.
Man, he's doing crazy really well.
Why does Fury just seem like he's able to bitch slap Hank Pym like it's nothing, like it's no big deal?
Did you guys notice that his helmet similar to the Ant-Man helmet?
Yeah, it looks like it's doing the...
A little bit. Just yellow, but yeah.
It looks more like the Ant-Man helmet than does the Yellow Jacket helmet.
Yeah, just with the yellow eyes, but yeah.
Yeah.
This is also the first time we're actually seeing how dangerous the Yellow Jacket suit is.
Wait, what the...
Who did he go talk to, Richard?
He teamed up with Loki.
Oh boy.
Well,
I
that's
love
creepy.
The laugh.
Oh boy, you would never expect Loki and Nick Fury to like team up. It's so crazy.
The goth kid.
What's with the goth kid? Hello, trickster god.
Hello.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved to have seen this in live action though.
Oh heck yeah.
I mean, it would have been something super cool. Even with the fact that Samuel L. Jackson's like 70 and Michael Douglas is probably almost 80.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like? I don't like how that just resolved itself with him saying, then honor her. That feels lame.
Yeah. Very, very much like that was that we needed to rush that real quick just to wrap this episode up.
I would have rather had him go like, this isn't over or something.
Man,
We've
these episodes are relatively short, though, huh?
They're only half an hour.
Yeah, they've only been all but maybe half an hour, maybe a tiny bit more.
Loki at the UN with a bunch of Asgardian guards.
Loyal subjects.
Well, what's fascinating about this too is that Loki's also at the center of everything that's happening with the multiverse, it feels like, or these time variants. So this would also be like another variant Loki. You know, they'd be running around like
This is
controlling
a
the world,
variant
essentially.
that would for sure be pruned because Loki just
Right.
won.
Right.
Remember, they said Loki doesn't win. He was supposed to always lose, but he just won. Ooh, I like that.
That's creepy.
I know.
Okay, I like this on the coffins. The little emblems.
Yo, let's just get this straight real quick. Is that the Yellow Jacket had more success in taking out the Avengers than Thanos did?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean,
Like for good.
This is the first time we actually saw how deadly that suit was, because we didn't really get the full picture in Ant-Man.
Yeah,
I mean, it was tough, but yeah, not this deadly.
But it just goes to show how much of a badass Hank Pym is. Like and how if his tech used correctly can dismantle the Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, okay. Cap hasn't even been.
As long as someone keeps their good eye on the bigger picture.
Wait, what are the chances though that that's Captain Carter?
Right. Oh.
Captain Carter never got frozen.
Ah, good point.
She never did. Right. She was
good point, Caitlin.
Do you think he said welcome back, Captain? So that was to. Do you think both
Captain.
of them?
I'd assume both of them. Right?
Oh, right,
probably.
Right. So this is the second episode
crazy.
where they've like had like a dangling ending to it. Do you think we're gonna get a follow up next season?
I would love a follow up of this. I want to know I want to see who the new Avengers are.
I almost feel that like maybe we even get it in another episode of this somehow, some way.
Could be.
There are post-credit scenes. I'm assuming that we're gonna have to get a post-credit scene at some point during some of these.
We've got it, right? I would guess the Doctor Strange episode.
Yeah.
I'd guess like
Dude, that
6
was
or
dope.
7, yeah.
I really like that episode, guys. Like
I think that's my favorite.
Probably me too.
I love so much that it was a murder mystery, and the nexus point that starts the episode is A, we never see it, and B, like decades from when it actually took place.
Right.
So we got a couple of you guys in the chat currently. Donnie Pearson. We got Toku Kid. Hopefully you guys are still there, bearing with us on this What If Watch Along episode 3. Man, that's a lot to take in. It does surprise me though how seemingly easy it was for Hank Pym to dismantle the Avengers. Though he must have had inside information because we know that he has previous information from S.H.I.E.L.D. and he has a lot of he probably has a lot of files on these people prior to them obviously assembling. So it gives him a bit of the advantage that Thanos didn't have. But man, he didn't need a power glove.
No, well, he looked at all of the S.H.I.E.L.D. files on them. So he knew everything that Fury knew. And he's a genius. Hank Pym is legitimately a genius. So I like that. I also the other thing I think about, we got 3 different genres in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, let's talk about it. We're gonna have our post talk right now. Welcome back to everybody who watched the watch along with us. We're the Illuminerdi, and this is our episode 3 watch along, and we're gonna talk all about this crazy episode. So, Caitlin, tell us what you thought of the episode.
I thought it was amazing. I love that like Joe said during the episode, that you have the multiple nexus points in the actual episode of the Avengers dying, but I love that the nexus point that started this branch of the timeline took place decades before and is tied to Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne and all of that. I thought that was very cool. And I love that it's a different genre. I mean, we got 3 different genres in 3 episodes that just felt vastly different. At no point was I watching and going, this feels like something we saw already. So I'm hoping we're going to continue with that, because that's one of the things I think that the MCU has done well, especially with a lot of their earlier origin movie films. So I like that we're kind of continuing that with the What If episodes.
Absolutely. I mean, the cool thing about this format is they can keep us on our toes every single episode because they can go any direction they possibly want to.
Mm-hmm.
Richard, what were your thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really good episode. I mean, this was definitely the most like different stories that we've gotten retellings of in one episode. Because like episode 1 was pretty much just a retelling of Cap 1, and then the second one was just a Guardians 2 redo with T'Challa as Star-Lord. But this one we got pretty much almost all of Phase 1 redone, and I mean. Plus, we got like Hank Pym in there. We got Crossbones in there. I mean, this was a crazy episode.
I think that 2 and 3 veered off more from I agree that 1 was very much a retelling of First Avenger, but I think 2 really veered off from Guardians, and I think 3 veered off from everything. So I'm hoping we get more of that. But I do get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this felt like a real big kind of Phase 1 alternate universe here, with touches of the characters that are ground level heroes, with the exception of Captain Marvel at the end. I thought that was really cool, though. This is kind of, I mean, obviously, it's like, what if the Avengers died? This is the like, what if the Avengers never happened kind of a scenario. And Caitlin, I think that you brought up a good point. I am excited to see what that new Avengers team looks like to take on Loki, or is just Captain Marvel and Steve Rogers enough? You know what I mean? So, you know, it's quite interesting to look at and to see if we'll get a follow-up. Because the one thing I'm excited to see, too, especially in What If Season 2, is to see if we do get follow-up episodes based on episodes we have previously seen.
Yeah. I mean, we know we're getting Captain Carter back because they talked about that in the press conference. But I think that's the only character they've confirmed is coming back for every season. Mm-hmm. But I really want to see the aftermath of this because... like, the episode itself was crazy, and then you're like, oh, by the way, Loki just took over Earth. Okay, we're out. What?
Nuts.
I mean, episode 2 did that, too, with Ego.
Exactly. I was going to say, I'm looking forward to see if they follow up with Ego and Peter Quill. But at the other side of the coin, this is very much a Twilight Zone type of series. So I think at the other side of the coin, they might be actually just having us imagine what happened.
Yeah.
That's almost creepier.
Yeah, and then like the thing I'm thinking too is that all 3 episodes were all pretty much self-contained. It looked like. So I mean, obviously we're going to be following up on some of the stuff in season 2, but I'm curious to see like because we still don't have really an overarching narrative for this season yet, and we're a third of the way through. So like not even a tease for it or anything. So I'm curious to see what route they go on that front.
It's a great point, Richard. We are a third of the way through, and we're at a point yet now still where we haven't seen the Watcher really do much. He's really still been in the background. By the way, I literally mean in the background in this episode, because some of that stuff with the Watcher in this episode was really cool, kind of like where they placed him and how they've kind of fit him into the scene. I really love when What If does that.
I think one of my favorite transitions was Fury into the Watcher. That was super cool.
That was awesome.
Oh, that was super cool. Yeah. You know, this poses another question, though. Like, for the most part, we know what the other episodes are. Not the episode order, but we know what they are simply because we broke so much news about it. We don't, like I said, we don't know the episode order. What are you guys hoping that is the next episode for What If?
Doctor Strange.
That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Doctor Strange soon.
I feel like Doctor Strange is the start of the arc because the first trailer showed this like dark Doctor Strange fighting with what looked like what I'm going to call MCU Prime's Doctor Strange. So that to me feels like the start of what I assume is going to be the What If arc, because based on the second trailer and like leaks from somewhere else, we saw kind of that Guardians of the Multiverse, and in the second trailer we saw a bunch of these characters teamed up together. It was that transition from Avengers into whatever the new team is. And I also feel like the Doctor Strange one can be kind of the first real hints of What If having a larger impact on the rest of the MCU.
I think these are the things that we should be talking about. Look, For all of you people that are watching us live, this is the reason why you watch us live, to deep dive into the MCU and pick it apart and talk about it. And I think, Caitlin, you brought up a great point, another great point. Here's one thing that I'm looking at, and follow along and chime in if you will, gents, or all of you, actually. Chime in if you will. MCU Doctor Strange versus this other Doctor Strange that we reported on in the What If series. There's been a lot of speculation ever since yesterday when the No Way Home trailer came out. What are the chances that Doctor Strange that we see in that trailer is this What If Doctor Strange? And this is the fallout from this What If episode directly connecting to that. Do you guys think that this is a
Dark
possibility?
Doctor Strange wins?
Dark Doctor Strange wins. Wong doesn't know, and that's kind of like why Wong's like, just whatever you do, don't do what Peter tells you. He's like, yeah, all right, this Doctor Strange is an agent of chaos that's going to be causing this MCU. What are the chances that this is a possibility?
Yeah, you literally stole my. Yeah, I literally stole my thunder. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's perfect though, because I mean, I don't think that any of these what ifs are going to make you have to watch What If in order to watch a movie, but it opens the possibilities and the doors for imaginations to go, or even accept that there's another kind of possible variant of Doctor Strange, or Doctor Strange could have some kind of other motives from watching it. So I definitely think it sets the chess pieces in place.
I would love if that was Dark Doctor Strange, because I think that would set up a lot of cool possibilities, not only in Spider-Man, but in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Because let's say for a second that is Dark Doctor Strange. We reported that his motivation is based on, for kind of becoming this darker character, was based on lost love. And his girlfriend's coming back in the second movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
Christine.
Yeah, so if it is dark, let's say it is Dark Doctor Strange, that was his girlfriend in his own universe, what is that going to look like if they reunite? I think that would be really, really crazy and interesting, and something that hadn't really occurred to me.
Yeah, and
I think this is the plot thickens type of scenario. Go ahead, Rich. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just going to say, whatever happens, I can't wait to see Benedict Cumberbatch play that, because if he has to play the normal Doctor Strange and this dark Doctor Strange in live action along with the series, holy crap, that's going to be something good.
Did his magic look right in the trailer?
It looked at least the same color. I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, he was doing some different techniques and stuff. We haven't seen him do that kind of spell, obviously, but
right, because
it looked pretty similar.
I feel like the magic looked different in the trailer.
Yeah. Also, can I just say that the look of him in sweats, a parka, and the cloak is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, well, speaking of dark characters, we got a dark interpretation of Hank Pym.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I love this.
So good.
Someone shoot. Let us know what you think of this dark Hank Pym and what it can mean for the future.
I've always, like I said, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, one of my favorite animated Marvel things that I've ever seen. It really opened me up to the Marvel Universe. This is right around phase 1 of the MCU coming out, and they start introducing all the characters, including Guardians of the Galaxy, except their version of Rocket is Australian. But you can tell the tone of those characters are kind of there, of what James Gunn wanted to do. But Star-Lord is a completely different character. I know I'm rambling on, but this Hank Pym thing leads somewhere, because this is exactly what they did with Hank Pym. They made, I mean, obviously he was a lot younger in this cartoon, but you get to see that kind of turn where he goes from being the Ant-Man until being this Dr. Yellowjacket, which, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of happens in the comics as well. I have always kind of wanted to see this version of Hank Pym, but I love the fact that we not only get to see this version of Hank Pym, but we see him being an efficient badass using his intelligence and his power set to take down Earth's mightiest heroes. I love this episode.
Yeah. I also like that we got a dark, because Hank Pym historically in the comics has not only been kind of a dark character, he sucks. He beats his wife. But I like that we got a dark version of him who very clearly still loved his family. It wasn't, oh, he's dark because he's abusive. It's he's dark because he lost everything. I thought that was a very smart way to do that.
Yeah,
Chat. Let's go to the chat real quick, Richard. Table that for 1 second. We got Toku Kid says, love the yellow jacket and also proves if Ant-Man wanted, he probably could have taken out everyone. Yep, absolutely agree with you. Richard, what were you going to say, buddy?
Well, yeah, like kind of going off what Caitlin was saying, I love the fact that they were able to take like Hank Pym's super, super dark side from the comics, because he's a good guy in the comics, but he's got a really, really dark inner, inner side to him. And I love that they were able to explore that in a way, like you were saying, that made it seem like this is all about grieving, losing hope. And instead of just him being a complete douchebag.
Right.
And he was crazy in this episode. He went absolutely nuts over losing hope. And it makes sense why he, pretty much killed all the Avengers.
And
I love
also
that hope is in the kid and hope is in like hope for the rest of his life. That was clever.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
Seeing how the Ant-Man power set is able to take out the entire Avengers really kind of sets things in place for Ant-Man 3 to be like, well, how is he going to follow up all these other movies? We could really see, well, if, Scott Lang put his mind to it or had someone really show him what to do, he could even go to a whole nother level.
People underestimate him because he's played by Paul Rudd.
All those jokes about Ant-Man beating Thanos were totally true.
Hey, do you guys think that we've seen Scott Lang's story starting to come to a close at this point with this version of the MCU's character?
See,
let me rephrase that question. Do you think maybe not Scott Lang or any member of that Ant-Man family? Do you see any of those characters? Like, do you think that their story's kind of fulfilled at this point, where we can see one of them die in this third film?
I don't know, but I could see it going like really either way. I could see it either be like kind of the swan song closing of a chapter, but because we know we're getting his kid probably ending up a young Avenger, I also could see them taking on more of a mentor, because I feel like weirdly like Ant-Man and Wasp are the perfect mentors for young Avenger, because you have someone that's like actually able to train them, and then you have Scott, who is probably weirdly one of the most emotionally intelligent characters in the MCU.
And also probably the most relatable to the youthful MCU kids that would be those young Avengers.
Totally.
Yeah. So I feel like they're the right characters to kind of keep going with, but I also wouldn't necessarily be shocked if this was kind of wrapping up their story.
Right.
I can see a wrap up. I can't see a death for Scott Lang. He's just not. That's just not his art. But I could see an end for Hank Pym and maybe even Hope.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Hank or Janet.
Yeah, them sacrificing themselves for the next generation.
Sad.
Janet,
she's been through a lot.
Suck if Janet died.
Right?
I for 30 years.
I kind of agree with you guys about Hank at the very least, because it feels like at this point now, from where he started in Ant-Man to where he is now, it's kind of come full circle. He has his daughter back, he has his wife back, and he has like this surrogate son or even son-in-law at this point. Right. So he has his family back. So I can see him kind of being the one to die at some point throughout this, because it feels like that character's kind of wrapped up for the most part his story arc.
Yeah.
Also, can I just give Marvel casting credit again for casting somebody in Michael Douglas who probably could have played like a young Hank Pym or Scott Lang 30, 40 years ago. And even the same with people like Kurt Russell as Ego and stuff like that. I could have totally seen him playing one of the core MCU heroes a long time ago. So I just got to give Marvel's casting credit.
Dude,
Sarah credit again.
Nobody is better than Sarah Haley Finn at her job than anybody. And I honestly think that the one thing I love about the MCU is some of the things on paper. Like if you would have pitched it to me, I'd have been like, "There's no way," and I'm not into this. If you'd have told me I'm getting an 80-year-old Hank Pym before Ant-Man, I'd have been like, "What? Like, what are you like? I don't understand this." But that it's the only company at this point now where they're going to be like, "Hey, like we'll give you this character and it's going to be nothing how you remember it." I'd be like, all right, like I'm on board. Let's just see what happens at this point.
It's interesting you bring that up. Sarah Haley Finn's one of the most popular casting agents in Hollywood. But for What If, I don't know if you caught it, she's a consulting producer on this.
Oh,
right. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Nice.
I mean, she could because even Shang-Chi, if you think about it, if you told me, the Kung Fu expert he's this dude from Canada who was on a sitcom for a while. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, the way that they're able to just figure, like, they really break down a character and infuse that character with the personality of the actor that they're casting, and it becomes this symbiotic relationship between the actor and the character that I love that the MCU captures perfectly.
I think that really started with Robert Downey Jr. You know,
It
I
set
mean,
the tone. Set the tone completely. I agree with you. That and honestly, Nick Fury and Sam Jackson. Like,
yeah,
anybody that's a hardcore Marvel fan sees the parallels between the Ultimates and the MCU Avengers. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
right there in your face. Obviously, with the Ultimates, they took it a little bit of a darker route, I feel like, but like the elements are there though.
Well, do you know the story behind that?
I know the story behind. By the way, you know what we should do too, Brax, is tell each scene that we were in the Spider-Man movie after this. But yes,
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that and check
tell
that
the story of the Sam Jackson thing for anyone.
Yeah, so basically, when they decided to do the Ultimate Comics, who was it? Brian Michael Bendis and then his team.
I believe that one was Mark Millar.
Mark Millar. Exactly. They decided they wanted to change Nick Fury and they wanted to use Samuel L. Jackson as a template. So they didn't really necessarily even ask him, and they just went ahead and did it. And obviously, it looked just like him. So Samuel L. Jackson, instead of going like, "I'm going to sue you," he's like, "Well, if you're gonna put me in your comic, you're gonna have to put me in the movie too." And that's how it started. Yeah. So like,
amazing.
it's
That's
literally they
great.
manifested their destiny right there.
And now he's been in like more MCU movies than anybody.
Absolutely.
You know what's also interesting too is the casting of Robert Downey Jr. was spot on. But I will say, like, even in an interesting kind of way, is that the person that was the runner up to that. I mean, Tom Cruise was cast at some point, and then that whole fallout happened. But it was Sam Rockwell, and I feel that like I can see that. You know what I mean? I can still see Sam Rockwell as Iron Man. But you know what? If we do get this Dark Avengers, I really do hope we see him as Iron Patriot. I think a Sam Rockwell Iron Patriot would be a lot of fun to see.
Armor Wars.
Armor Wars, exactly, dude. Oh my gosh, I think
Armor Wars is gonna be
perfect fit. Perfect fit.
I would have never have thought I was going to be excited about the Armor Wars, you know what I mean, with Rhodey, because again, that's another character even now where I would be like, you know, like, all right, I feel like that character's arc has kind of fulfilled itself. But now I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what they do with Armor Wars.
Yeah, with the introduction of Ironheart coming in Black Panther 2, it all makes sense.
Crazy.
I like that Rhodey's kind of getting his own arc because I get what you say, but I almost feel like he hasn't really fulfilled his arc because it doesn't seem like he's really had an arc outside of I'm Tony Stark's best friend.
Exactly. He finally gets to
get
out of Tony's shadow this time around.
Sort of.
I mean, a little bit, but still. I mean,
let's be honest.
Tony's shadow is going to be over the MCU for literally as long as the MCU exists.
Hey,
so
give him a break. He told a really good joke in Avengers 2. Boom.
Boom. Are you looking for? Why do I even tell you guys?
I love so much Stanley's appearance when he's like Tony Stank and Rhodey's like, yes, thank you.
Yes,
That's
this is Tony
dying.
Stank. You're in the right place. Never dropping that, by the way.
That was great.
Table for one, Mr.
Well, also, isn't that I think a fun scene too is in Infinity War when Ruffalo is like, what do we? He's a king. When they see T'Challa, he's like, do we bow? And it's like, yeah,
he's a king.
And then he's like, no, we're not supposed to. Like, what are you doing?
We don't do that yet.
That was so good.
So funny.
That was great.
You know, so one of the most surprising things for me about this What If episode, and you know, I couldn't quite figure out what is this episode turning. You know, we talked about how the first one was Captain America, the First Avenger. The second one is obviously Guardians of the Galaxy. This really was the Avengers because what really clinched that for me was when Loki and Fury teamed up at the end, and that's like bringing the Avengers to a whole different perspective and a whole different spin on its head. So I think that that's kind of what we got this episode.
Yeah, it's what if the Avengers threat was Yellow Jacket instead of Loki, right? And at least that, like your Avengers 2 at that point would have been versus whoever you acquires the Avengers versus Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't even like Avengers versus Yellow Jacket. It was Yellow Jacket taking out possible Avengers because like Thor didn't have like a single line.
He didn't talk at all.
I mean, that's the thing because Loki seemed different when he came down. Like him saying, "I'm the rightful king of Jotunheim," totally threw me, but in the coolest way. The fact that everyone just followed his orders without question, I thought was really interesting. Even Sif was like, she was like, he has a point, let's hear him out before we destroy him. So it really seemed like Loki had more respect in this version.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting to me, and it kind of opens the question to me of like, would Thor have been able to pick up the hammer?
You know, great question, but also who was not present there was the Warriors 3. So we don't know what happened to
Yeah.
them in this timeline either. I
Yeah,
think there's a
Sif was
lot. I
there, but
mean,
not the Warriors 3.
yeah. So
So
that's a
did
really,
Marvel.
yeah, that's a really fascinating question to think about, though.
Oh my god.
Thank
Is
you.
kind of what happened in the background with this one.
I mean, they literally killed off Zachary Levi in Ragnarok so it could be in Shazam.
I mean, that's a fair trade-off. I'd probably.
They killed the
too.
Warriors 3 in like 2 seconds flat.
Only one of them had actually no, two of them had lines.
Yes,
Right.
but the best line ever was "Whoever you are." The second
Whoever I
time.
asked you listen to a word I said.
That was my favorite thing ever about that. Like, I think that was his best moment in his entirety of Thor was "Whoever you are," and just her
That
losing
was
it.
amazing. And Hell was just like, excuse me, what the hell?
What the hella?
Oh Lord. That movie's amazing.
Oh, look, I'm excited to see what they do with the fourth Thor movie because
God, me
mean,
too.
we have to assume that leads right into whatever Guardians 3 is going to be.
Yeah.
You know what? The only reason I would want to see Loki appear in any capacity in the fourth Thor movie is if, like, he kind of portaled in there and saw Sif and just immediately flinched.
All right, I'm out.
Like, he just got so used to her beating the crap out of him in that, like, jail.
Yeah, God knows how
thing.
many times.
Yeah, that he just flinches and she's just like,
You know,
what?
I do wonder though, like in terms of like just being Kevin Feige and like let's say Tom Hiddleston for example, like after you're done with Avengers Infinity War, Tom Hiddleston as an actor knows that okay, like I'm finally out of the MCU. Let's see what happens. And then you get this thing and you're like, you know what? We're gonna bring the character back. Not only that, we're gonna give you a Disney Plus show. And then you're gonna be a bigger like I would have never have guessed that his character would have been so pivotal in Phase 4. I honestly thought that we had seen the last of him in Infinity War.
I thought we did too,
What
but
happened
so
with
it really-
Vision, too?
yeah,
But
so it really
Loki
does
never
surprise
dies.
me. It really does surprise me, but he's such a focal point in Phase 4, though.
Can I
Yeah.
turn your observation on its head?
Sure.
Do you guys think we're getting a little bit of Loki overkill at this point?
Yes.
He could, but I still
would
enjoy
say
it.
I would say I think that Marvel's doing a fair balance right now of giving us enough Loki because I have a feeling this might sustain us until maybe even Thor because I'm not sure when we will see Loki again. I mean,
think
I
we
guess we
Because he's supposed to
I
be in
guess
that
we know
said-
that he's going to be in Doctor Strange.
There's
So
just rumors of that.
It
Yeah.
really does feel that everything is kind of leading up to Doctor Strange. You know, like when the Avengers usually have these event movies, whether it be Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Infinity War, and Endgame, those are the big tentpole Marvel movies. It almost feels like
Doctor Strange.
this Doctor Strange movie is that movie that everything's leading up to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it could be.
it's like, what, 3 of the Disney Plus shows as far as we know? Because I'm assuming Falcon and Winter Soldier is not leading to Doctor Strange. If it is, I'll be very impressed.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
So 3 of the Disney Plus shows and the Spider-Man movie are all tied
Well,
to
and-
Doctor Strange.
And Loki. And What If?
Yeah, 3 of the Disney Plus shows. You've
Right,
WandaVision,
yeah.
Loki, and What If, all tied to Doctor Strange. And Spider-Man is going to be tied to Doctor Strange. I mean, we even see him in the trailer.
Right.
So I like that, to me is insane. I mean, I don't know, like, obviously Endgame and Infinity War, but this has even more kind of specific build-up. Like, obviously we were building to Endgame with the entirety of the first 3 phases in the Infinity Saga, but this has more like strategic, like, small moment build-up. Because I think the biggest thing of Loki was you broke it. You broke the timeline. You know, WandaVision is like really the ending of her getting, like, the Darkhold feels like the biggest, and hearing like her kids' voices feels like the biggest moment. What If, the biggest moment, maybe it's Dark Doctor Strange, maybe it's what looked like Shuma-Gorath or one of the other, what is it, angled ones?
Mm-hmm.
Angled ones. Uh, and the Watcher. Like, it has pieces of it feel like they're leading up to it, not the entirety of the show, which I like, because I like that we got Wanda's story, and it's like, oh, by the way, big moment.
Yeah, like it feels like Multiverse of Madness could have like the same level of impact as like something like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, in terms of like if we're talking comparing it to solo movies rather than like a big Avengers outing, because like we still don't know when the next big like Avengers outing is. The furthest thing we have confirmed is Guardians 3, which is in 2023. So like I'll be curious to see what like the next big thing, like big game changing event to come after Multiverse of Madness is. It could be Love and Thunder too, because that has the chance to be something really big too.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're really diving into the team up movies, which I think that's cool. I like that we're getting team ups as movies and then individuals.
It's been around for so long that it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah, and individuals as shows. What I'm curious about is how that's going to be with the general audience, because I think we're going to get to the point where it's going to get confusing.
A little bit, yeah.
Beyond Multiverse of Madness, I would say Ant-Man 3 has the Quantumania has the best potential to really shake things up and really like we're playing with reality a lot that has something to do with time, even though it feels like we're doing time, but that really has the opportunity to really dive into time on the big screen in ways that Loki has and that other way, that we've seen on Disney Plus.
Yeah, speaking of the future of the MCU, and I don't know why this just popped into my head, but it really feels like we're focusing a lot of Phase 4. It seems obviously on the multiverse, but also the cosmic side of the MCU is being focused on. Do you think that there's a chance that we can get the Phoenix Force ahead of actually introducing mutants? Because the Phoenix Force is such a large, entity that would be, they could be connected outside of the X-Men universe.
I could see teases of it coming before then.
Yeah.
I don't know if like a full-on movie or anything.
Well, not necessarily a movie, but introduced at least, or even in one of these concepts of being like, they explain it a little bit in the trailer of Eternals that just recently came out as well. That when they snapped, when humanity snapped their fingers back, that it caused this like moment to happen. I mean, it could be something like that as well. And did that break the was that a nexus point too? Like when that happened also?
Well, just real quick, what's ridiculous about Marvel is that we had all this week and we forgot that an Eternals trailer came out like 5 days ago.
It's
like,
true.
How ridiculous is that?
It's quite crazy.
I feel like that says something about the Eternals trailer, but
ouch. You haven't been a fan of either of them.
They are not as interesting as I want them to be.
Look, I will say that with Eternals, I'm a big fan of Jack Kirby, and I'm a big fan of like the stuff that he's done. And I know, and if I'm not mistaken, Mark Waid that did a run on this too, or who was it? There was somebody more recent that did a run on Eternals. I can't remember who it was, but
Neil Gaiman do a run on Eternals?
Maybe it was Gaiman. It was somebody like that, or somebody like that. But regardless, I think that this is the first Marvel franchise that you don't really know any of these characters prior to the movie coming out. And I know people can say that about Guardians of the Galaxy, but I even feel that like within Guardians of the Galaxy, we got enough promo in the trailers to understand who the characters were. In this, I think that the ensemble is so big, I'm not exactly sure who each person is supposed to be or how I'm supposed to relate to them.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, just I want to know who the characters are, or I want more of a vibe. Like, to me, the vibe of the film right now is like, ooh, aliens. And I'm like, okay, well, we've had aliens for a while. That's not, I need more than that to be intrigued. Like, if this had been the first cosmic thing, I'd probably be more like, ooh, aliens, what's going on?
I think that this movie has the potential, Eternals, to have more surprises and twists that we're really not expecting than probably any other property. There's only 2 movies that I could think of where in creative, whether it's a star or a director, came and actually pitched a movie to Marvel, and they're like, okay, we'll make that movie. So Chloe Zhao walked into Marvel Studios and said, I have this idea for Eternals, and it really wasn't even on their radar before that. And Mahershala Ali walked in and said, I want to be Blade, basically.
Right.
So I think this has the opportunity to kind of even expand things and hopefully it'll give Chloe Zhao, who's like, obviously an Academy Award winning director, to really like do something that we're not expecting with these characters that we don't know.
And I liked a lot of the cast too. Like,
oh yeah, I love
it's
I love
set
the
up
cast.
to be really good. Trailers.
Yeah.
I want a little more. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to be spoiled, but I just want, because Feige has said like Gemma Chan's character is like the main character.
Right.
I would
So
like
the
a
lead.
little, so I'd like a little more focus on her, so like we at least know who she is. I want to at least kind of get a feel for one or two of these guys.
Yeah.
Because right now it feels like we're jumping between so many of them in the trailer, like itself, that I can't get a read on any of them. But no, I think you're right, Brax. Like that, the fact that she walked in and was like, "Here's what I want to do," and they're like, "Sweet." It should be good. Like that makes me think this should be amazing.
That's the only thing giving me hope.
Yeah.
I also think that you're right, Brax. This is the one Marvel movie that any longtime fan that has been reading Marvel comics their whole life should have the potential to catch things that normally wouldn't be there in another kind of MCU type of movie. Not, I mean, obviously outside of Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. But I feel that, like, especially on the cosmic level, I think that this is a great way that there could be some Easter eggs, or at least things set up here that could lead to the further future of the MCU, whether it be Silver Surfer and Galactus, whether it be, the Fantastic Four, or any of these other cosmic, this is why I'm saying the Phoenix Force, any other of these cosmic type of characters that would be in the backdrop there.
Yeah, so let me go back to that real quick. So I love being a contrarian. I don't think there's a chance in hell we're going to see anything about the Phoenix Force. Not a chance. Not for at least 10 years, because they tried it 2 times already. And one thing we know about Feige is he's not going to tread down the same paths that Fox went already. So I don't think that's going to happen. But, as far as the Eternals, the cool thing about it, what they have the opportunity to do is they have an opportunity to, one, set the table in when Galactus comes after you see the Celestials. It won't seem like just out of nowhere, kind of like they set the stage for magic and then time travel and reality altering things like now. And then also what they have the opportunity to do is something that other Marvel movies haven't done, is really tackle big things. Because if you really think about what the Eternals is, it's kind of like a retelling of the creation story. Like, it's almost biblical. Like, it's, and it just has the opportunity to really like pull in people that really might not be into this kind of stuff in general, just with the themes that they might be able to tackle if they decide to go there.
This could be their Space Odyssey 2001, the MCU version.
Yeah,
it really can be. But I agree. I think, look, at the end of the day, this has an Academy Award winning director, damn near an Academy Award winning cast.
Close to it, yeah.
Or at least close to it, exactly. And it has the money of the MCU. On paper, this should be one of the best MCU movies to date. However, with promotion, I would say I'm not so sure, because there's a lot that's going on right now. And I think that, I don't know why it's happening this way, but correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't it feel that, like, from August till December, Marvel feels stacked? Like you said, Richard, like we literally got an Eternals trailer 5 days ago, but that got so overshadowed by this Spider-Man thing. You know what I mean? It just feels so stacked that we didn't even get a chance to even talk about that until now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I definitely think that, like, the fact that they're going up against all these other MCU projects, like, it's in November, or it should be.
November, yeah.
And so I'm assuming we're going to be getting, like, Eternals promotion and Hawkeye promotion at kind of the same time.
Yes. We also got to address the chat here. Donnie Pearson, he says 10 out of 10 for episode 3 and for this live stream. Thank you so much for watching.
Hey.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where the MCU is going to go next. I mean, I'm excited just to see what our next episode of What If is, because if it's any indication, every single episode has just gotten better. So episode 4 to me, I think, and you're right, Richard. I completely forgot. We're already a third of the way through. I mean, we only got 6. We got 6 left. 6 weeks of What If fun.
Mm-hmm.
This is the show I wish, like, took a page out of Bad Batch and went, yeah, we'll give you 16 episodes.
Yeah, if only.
What when is Hawkeye supposed to come out?
November 24th.
November 24th. So that's gonna be a
Wow.
good amount of time with no Disney or no Marvel content on Disney Plus, huh?
Well, you got to think
So-
because we're getting Shang-Chi in September, like it's September 5th, right? Then after that we have Eternals, right?
Yeah.
Then after that we have Hawkeye. Then after that we have Spider-Man. So it's like it's not like we're not gonna have anything from. I mean, we have lots of Marvel content coming.
So I just did the math. What if it's supposed to end, if it does one episode a week, on October 6th? Then that would mean about a month break between the end of What If and Eternals
Okay.
coming out.
That makes sense. That's about what they had between What If and
Loki.
Loki.
And
Yeah,
Loki, yeah.
Man,
that makes
Well,
sense.
you got to hopefully add a week to that, Richard, assuming they're going to do another like behind the scenes thing.
Right. With
Yeah.
Assembled.
That doesn't count though. I'm not staying up late for that.
I want not for like live like live, but for like content. I mean,
New content. So so that would mean about 2.5-3 week break.
you know what I almost wish that they would do in these like weeks off is those Marvel one shots. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
As
yeah.
little
I
shorts
wish
or
they would
something.
bring those back.
wasn't there one that was like Coulson's week or like Coulson's best week or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
No
He
doubt.
just broke that.
Yeah.
That's what this was. It was a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
true.
what it was. But I think that those one shots were so much fun, and honestly, I'm curious to see if anything in season 2 of What If touches on any of the Netflix characters or even like the agents, like and some of the TV characters. I mean, honestly, well, I guess they did have a mandate that they couldn't introduce anything that they hadn't introduced before. But I
Right.
wonder if like something
was
like the
season 1.
Inhumans, season 1. I wonder if
season 2 they're gonna have Phase 4 stuff coming.
Yeah, for sure.
the Inhumans is off the table.
Man,
think
I
it
still wish they.
Sorry, I think it depends on what route they're going with Miss Marvel.
Good call.
I still wish they would have done in the Inhumans movie. I was so excited for that one when that was on
I
the Phase
am
3.
with
Why?
you.
You
I
didn't
am
like
with you.
the show?
It was,
Oh, the show,
you know,
God. No, the show was
fine.
Terrible. No, it was not fine. That
It
show
was fine.
hot
Wow, Richard.
garbage.
No,
That
it
show
was
hot
pretty.
garbage.
It
So
was pretty bad.
I attended the Inhumans panel at Comic-Con, and it's the only panel I've ever walked out of. I was just like, I can't take
Bro,
this anymore. This is
I
ridiculous.
attended.
I walked. They were showing new footage. And I was like, I can't take it anymore.
I
Y'all
attended
keep it.
the
Keep it.
set visit in Hawaii, and I still wasn't sold on the show.
Wow.
So, like, that's how it was. But I'm with you, Richard. I would have loved to see an MCU version of Black Bolt and Medusa in Lockjaw. Like
Vin Diesel is Black
proper-
Bolt.
Honestly, that's the only. Honestly, I agree with you, Richard. That is the right choice for that. Like him, and especially since it's a character that doesn't speak, and we already get his voice as Groot.
Exactly.
It makes the most sense.
It would
I
have been perfect.
Loved him as Black Bolt. I wish that we would have gotten Inhumans MCU proper.
Me too.
But
I'm arguing the point of the Illuminerdi. I'm not saying the entirety of season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was good. That twist that tied into Winter Soldier was a cool little twist.
That was really fun.
I think that was definitely though the MCU, the Kevin Feige being like, oh, you want to start a Marvel TV, huh? Well, we're gonna get rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. Let's see what you do with the show then, huh? It was
Yeah, they
almost
really got dealt a bad hand.
I really do almost feel like the MCU films was challenging every step of the way. MCU TV just being like,
100%.
like writing challenges, being like, oh, well, you want an Agency of S.H.I.E.L.D. show? Cool. We're gonna get rid of them. Oh, let's do that. Like that. At that point, they're like, oh, all right, let's just, it became like a writing game, like writing exercise every week for them.
Right.
Yeah.
True enough.
I think that's why they were like, screw it, we're not canon anymore. We're doing
Hey,
What are you gonna do if we
Sure.
make half of the people disappear?
Yeah, it's their
Exactly.
response. Ignore it.
Like,
That's
it
exactly
didn't
right.
happen.
Like, yeah, we're gonna make half the people disappear. See, and but we already signed our whole cast, man. It's tough shit, guys. That's what
Oh,
it felt
man.
like.
What are you gonna do when we make half the people disappear? They go to space in the future. What are you gonna do?
Hey, something we didn't talk about, and I'm sure we'll wrap after this, is that people say, I know we were talking about Easter eggs in that Spider-Man trailer. A lot of people are saying that they caught a glimpse of Matt Murdock. Do you think that is Matt Murdock in the trailer with Peter? in that like interrogation room.
All I will say about the interrogation room, the part that stood out to me the most is, why is he reading police files?
This is a great question. Why would they give us 16 to 17-year-old police files?
Right? So maybe Matt Murdock is there because I feel like he's the only lawyer that would get them the actual official police files.
Yeah. I would love if it is Matt Murdock, but I am not counting in or out anything right now. Like,
Well,
like just my last quick thing. I'm trying as hard as I possibly can to just like go into this movie as blind as possible. Like I'm not going to be able to forget some of this stuff, but I'm trying to take everything off the table in my mind. So
He says, as an entertainment journalist.
Yes, I know it is a damn near impossible task. I'm still going to try it. I don't care.
I respect that. I respect that.
Yep.
Let's say that is Matt Murdock. We actually wrote a feature on Matt Murdock possibly appearing in the She-Hulk series in the yellow costume. Given that is Daredevil and that is Matt Murdock, do you guys want it to be a variant or the same one from the Netflix series? Which would you guys prefer?
Me personally, I would rather have the same one from the Netflix series.
I agree.
I would rather we have that. I don't think we're gonna get that.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a completely new Matt Murdock?
Yeah.
I mean, interesting.
I don't, until they have the full rights where the Netflix stuff is on Disney Plus, I don't see them going, hey, go watch this show on our competing streaming site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, it would be the same Matt Murdock, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I do think it is going to be the same one because I think that deal ends fairly soon. And I think that it's a little bit less risk, mainly because even when that stuff does come off of Netflix, it's probably going to move over to Hulu rather than Disney Plus anyway. At least that's what I would assume.
Yeah,
Hulu's
probably.
Still owned by Disney, so
exactly.
Yeah. So if the deal ends, then I would say sure. If it doesn't, I'd say no.
I'm not sure though. Does Netflix might own the rights to the show? If I'm right, I think Marvel gets the rights to the characters back.
Oh, that might be right too.
Yeah, but I think it lives on Netflix forever.
Is that right?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 80%.
I have no idea. So
man, those Marvel contracts with different distributors is so bizarre to me. Like honestly,
crazy.
Credit to Marvel lawyers or Disney lawyers for figuring all that stuff out, man. Because I would not know how to how do you honestly? You have to assume, and this has to be in the back of Marvel Studios' head, is that you have to assume that the Spider-Man movie is going to be one of the biggest movies of all time. Granted that theaters are open up, people have accessibility to it. It's primed to be one of the biggest movies of all time, and it's primed to also be cinematic history. That can't be lost on Marvel Studios. That revenue stream of what Sony's going to pocket for that cannot be lost on Marvel Studios. So, to cut deals with all these characters the way that they have, or even to be like, you know what, our brand's strong enough where we don't need the Spider-Man film money. We can just take the rights of the figures and the comic books, and that's going to be enough. That is impressive to me. It's very impressive to me.
Well, they're smart about it too. I mean, like with Hulk and Namor, because those rights are still like all messy with Universal. So they're smart about how they incorporate characters with how they're allowed to, and still monetize them very well.
Yeah, they learned their lessons from the early 90s when they sold off all their characters all over the place. Yeah. So they've been slowly getting their toys back, and got to give them props.
Yeah, good job.
Give them props.
I mean, the fact that they built off Avengers, which before the MCU was that was not Marvel's big name brand hero. It wasn't, people didn't know Marvel because of the Avengers. They knew Marvel because of X-Men and Spider-Man. So the fact that they were like, well, what do we have left? All right, let's do this. And then built a universe on that alone is, I'm like, they know what they're doing. They know how to do this.
The fact that they made the biggest movie franchise ever, basically starting with B and C list characters. I mean, I can't say anything against that.
Yeah, I mean, literally, there was the challenge of how do we make a movie about a guy wrapped in a flag, and how do we make a movie about a space god with a hammer? It seemed like almost impossible to make, So the fact that they made this stuff relatable
have worked.
Yeah, and it just shows, even like we were talking about earlier, with how they made even then when Iron Man came out, you couldn't imagine magic being on the screen and taking it seriously. Well, they made it so we don't even think about magic being used on the screen, and now it's time travel. So they just really like are doing a great job of slow dripping us and getting us ready for the future.
And another thing they're doing a great job of too is almost making you forget about the things that you wanted as soon as you hear the characters get announced. And I'll give you an example, like Iron Man. Like you said, Rich, is at best like a C-level hero, well, at least when he started at the MCU. But the one storyline after that movie was a success that people wanted to see was Demon in a Bottle. But then that was like kind of when like we started going that Disney route, and we couldn't really give you that storyline, but we're going to give you all this other stuff instead. They do such a good job of supplementing things that you want to see with things that they know work for a mass audience and then end up working for hardcore fans as well. It's a very impressive line that they're walking, because they not only have hardcore Marvel fans in the palm of their hand, they have this mass audience in the palm of their hand. And I would venture to say that no franchise, film franchise especially, is able to do that, including Star Wars at this point, because the Star Wars fan base seems so scattered with what they want it to be compared to what it is. But they're getting trinkets of things that are incredible, like The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Well, even just like going off of what you said, like they can kind of pull off stuff that you would imagine. Could you ever have pictured Armor Wars and Ironheart without Tony Stark?
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Right,
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Mhm.
We do got another chat in here. Donnie Pearson says, Illuminerdi, he must go now, but thanks all four of us for another great What If watch along. Be seeing y'all on tomorrow's new Star Trek's Lower Deck watch along. That's right, Star Trek's Lower Decks will be on tomorrow night. With Caitlin, you're on that one too, aren't you?
Yep.
With Josh, you're gonna be talking Star Trek. Josh and Jamie, I think that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep. It's a group of incompetent space travelers.
There you go. You want to stay up for another watch along? It is a lot of fun. They're going to dive deep into. And Caitlin, were you a Star Trek fan going in?
No.
So you're coming in this with fresh eyes. I love it. I love it.
It was like me when I did the Star Wars thing a little bit.
Yeah, like I know basics. And then Josh and Jamie start talking, and I go, cool.
Cool.
Speaking of incompetent space travelers, we should get this episode of What If wrapped up real quick. So, Richard, tell people where they can find you.
I am pretty much on Twitter at rnebbins. Obviously, I write for the Illuminerdi. I write for the Direct a little bit too. And and just real quick before I sign off, just sending all my best to everybody up in Northern California with the fires and everything. I'm hoping to be back there. I'm planning on, hanging down here for about a week or so until everything settles out. But just all my best to all the firefighters up there, everybody dealing with the fires, and just stay safe, everybody.
Absolutely. Caitlin, where can people find you?
Here, this is my Twitter handle. And the Illuminerdi, where I write, and then Star Trek Lower Decks watch along, and then the Marvel watch along.
Every Tuesday or Wednesday morning at midnight.
Yeah. Wednesday and Thursday morning.
Right, there you go. And Joe, where can people find you, man?
You can find me right here at the Illuminerdi every Tuesday night, grinding with my other three cast members here. But you can also find me on more Illuminerdi shows like Saturday's Ranger Wrap-Up. But stay tuned, because we have more Illuminerdi content coming your way that's going to cover a lot more than just Marvel watch-alongs. So if you kind of get a feel and like what we do on our website, go over to theilluminerdi.com. Check us out, because we're going to be coming up with a lot more content headed your way. And Brax, where can the lovely people find you, my friend?
Oh, you can find me at Pointed Geeks on Twitter or Illuminerdi.brax on Instagram. And I'm like the watcher over the Illuminerdi website, so you could always just check out the Illuminerdi.com anytime you can.
Brax,
And that's going to do it for us.
We got to put a picture of you like hidden in the Illuminerdi site.
Yeah,
now.
I know, right? Yeah, that would be great, like in a silhouette of Brax somewhere on the side.
That'd be fun. With the glowing eyes.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for us on this week's Marvel Watch Along What If Episode 3. Next week, we're going to be back with Episode 4 and talking about the latest breaking news in the MCU. And listen, if next week's anything like this week, we can expect a lot more news. Marvel's doing a great job of keeping us on our toes every single day. For our latest coverage, check out the Illuminerdi on our website, theilluminerdi.com. Check us out on Twitter at the Illuminerdi, and also on Instagram at the Illuminerdi. You'll be able to find us there as well. TikTok, we just started a TikTok, so for a lot of you fans out there, you can check us out over there. And on Facebook, just check out all of our social media. We got new things going up everywhere. And thank you so much for joining us this week. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture right here at the Illuminerdi. See you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.